Hey everybody, Omar here, the Knife Shark Guy, and I am back with another fun-filled video for you. And today I'd like to do my full review on this guy right here. This is the Spyderco Bradley, and this knife has really impressed me. Couple of things about this knife that's just really impressive is the performance of the steel. Now I've actually gone and used this knife all last week. I did some cutting with cutting a few boxes, rope, twine. I mean, I had more spring cleaning to do. I figured why not break this guy out and actually use it. It looks like it hasn't been used all that much, but actually it has. I wiped it down a lot. I put a nice light thin coat of oil on it because, as you guys know, there's no corrosion resistance with them for steel. Basically, you get it wet, you don't wipe it down, it's going to rust up on you, and you know, troubles will start from there. The steel, however, cuts unbelievably well. You know what? I'm going to say it's probably like a hair better than M390. And the only unfortunate thing about the steel is that you have to wipe it down every time, which I'm not crazy about. But the cutting performance of this knife, basically through the shape of the blade, the action is fantastic. The fact that Spyderco went ahead and did a hollow grind on the knife made cuts even much more smoother, in my opinion. I always like having a hollow grind. Spyderco is really well known for their flat grinds. You know, pretty much almost, I'm going to say, what, 90% of Spyderco knives are with that flat grind, but this one has a nice hollow grind on it, and it just, the performance of the cutting was just unbelievable. Everything pretty much cut through like butter. But I think the thing that really impressed me the most about this knife was the action. It's a real addictive knife to flip. If you've ever had a Spyderco Swish Bowie, this knife would be like number 2. You really just feel the blade, like I guess what I'm trying to explain is that you actually feel the vibration of the blade flipping out of the handle. I mean, it just feels absolutely spectacular. I don't feel that in a lot of knives, but I definitely feel it in this one. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that the knife is probably perfectly balanced in that way between the handle and the blade, that it gives you that feeling. That's the only thing I can think of. But yeah, it cuts really well. The action is absolutely amazing on it. Everything, I absolutely love the open construction on it, making the knife even a little bit lighter. It's just a big, heavy-duty knife, but yet it's pretty enough to wear with a suit. I mean, look at that carbon fiber. It just looks absolutely fantastic, even though the carbon fiber isn't that much. So if I'm going to turn it over to the side so you guys can see if I can hold it up to the camera a little bit better. If you look at this knife, you can see that the carbon fiber only comes up to like where my fingernail is. It only comes up to about there, so you're looking at like maybe 1/32 of an inch of carbon fiber, and the rest underneath it is like one huge slab of G10 on both sides of the knife. That's one thing that's also nice about this knife. It is a titanium knife, but they did put carbon fiber on both sides of the knife and G10 on both sides of the knife. Most of the time you see a knife, it's got half carbon fiber on one side and all titanium on the other, but then again, this is a liner lock. It is not a frame lock, so they had no excuse for not doing that. Accessibility on this knife, as far as using it, the Spyderco hole is perfect where it is. The fact that the knife's incredibly smooth, there's no difficulty in getting the knife open. Very smooth. Again, the knife even opens with inertia. Even though I hit the lamp, it does open with inertia very easily. That's another one of my favorite things about this knife. This is a really great folder. I mean, if I were to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10 as far as performance, as far as looks, I would give this knife about a 9. Then again, that is a personal preference of mine. I like all my knives to scream fantastic, but yet still look elegant if they can. And this is one of the ones that are elegant. Probably one of the reasons why I never really went for a paramilitary 2, or I never really went with, you know, a Spyderco Manix or whatever. You know, any of the other regular normal knives, is that they were not as eye-appealing to me as the Gale Bradley or even the Swish Bowie or any of the other knives. You know, because we all buy knives based on looks, and then everything else comes afterwards. The weight of this knife is perfect. I do like the way it feels. The carbon fiber does lighten the knife, even though this is a heavy using knife. It is just Gale Bradley even thought of that as well, as far as how the knife will feel in your hand when you're doing heavy duty tasks. I think the odd thing about this knife is that it looks so elegant. No one would ever think of this as a hard use knife, but it actually is. Like I said, I cut a ton of boxes with it. I cut some twine, some rope. It did no problem. So this is a knife that you can actually go outdoors with and use in that capacity. But because of the aesthetics, you may not want to use it that way. But you know, people will do what they want to do. Overall, the knife really has great aesthetics, great performance. Everything overall I thought was fantastic. The open construction looks fantastic on the knife. There really isn't anything that you can't do with this knife that you could probably do with, say, a zero tolerance 00562 or a paramilitary 2. It's just that the Bradley knife is one of those overlooked knives that seems to be overshadowed by more popular knives like the paramilitary 2 and, of course, the zero tolerance knife. That's both those two knives that I mentioned have been around for years and years and years. They pretty much become a staple in the knife world. This knife could have been one of those if those two other knives did not exist. But you know, again, paramilitary 2 and zero tolerance 0562, they go for the masses, and a lot of people found a lot of merit in those knives, and they're absolutely correct. At least as far as the 00562 is concerned, in my eyes, because I do own one of those, and I use that a hell of a lot in my knife using when I use my knives. Like I said, I don't use knives all that heavily, but I do use them. Like I said, I work in an office. I don't have a job where I get to go cutting stuff every day outdoors. I wish I did, but it didn't go that way. However, that doesn't stop me from being able to test a knife beyond what I think it could do. So, to conclude, as far as using the knife, I give this a 9 overall. Looks, I give it a 9. The blade steel, yeah, I give that probably a 10. However, bring it back down to a 9 only because you have to keep wiping it down a lot. I mean, it's just, I was afraid that this thing would rust if I even let it go for a minute. You know, remember, you got to put at least a coat of oil on this thing to keep it from rusting. Really hard to get things like sticky tape stuff off of it. It took me a while to do that. I had to actually rub oil all over the knife first until all the sticky stuff got off the blade. But I'm sure that's that way with all knives. I'm only mentioning that for this video because this is M4 steel. So, because it doesn't have any corrosion resistance, I'm pretty sure it would be a lot easier to get that sticky tape stuff off of it. If it were M390 or some other steel that has corrosive properties, corrosive resistant properties on them. So this is my full review on the Gale Bradley. I hope this has been pretty helpful for you. I think probably I forgot to mention the lock, the liner lock here. The jimping on this, when you first get the knife, you can see the jimping on there. I don't know if I can hold that up to the camera. But yeah, but you see the jimping on there has these ridges on it. It's pretty abrasive on your thumb. You know, you do it quite a few times. You know, it actually hurts your fingernail. And then you start doing it on your skin, and then you start getting these, well, actually on my thumb it's actually gone, but you start getting these sort of like calluses from, you know, opening and closing the knife. But after a while, your hand gets used to it, and it's no big deal. It does, however, serve the purpose well because it's got that jimping. It's kind of a catch-22 because it does have the jimping on it. You know, it allows you to open and close it really easily without any like fumbling around. You know, if you need to cut something really quick, or for whatever reason, there's no reason why you can't push that liner lock over, open and close the knife. However, yeah, it does hurt the thumb quite a bit, and you have to kind of get used to it. So there you have it, the Gale Bradley full review. Any comments, or if you think I missed something, please comment on my channel. Any thoughts you may have regarding this knife, or maybe some category you might want me to go over. Like I said, I do this freestyle. I'm not, you know, I'm not like Nick Shabazz, where I've got a whole good, bad, the ugly thing. This is just a regular guy who loves knives, wants to show them off to you and show you his experience with using the knife. So this is Omar, the Knife Shark Guy, signing off, and I will be back in a few minutes because guess what, guys? I got a new knife, so we're going to be doing an unboxing in just a few seconds. So this is my promised review on the Gale Bradley. I really do hope you guys get this piece, or someone out there finds merit in this knife. I think it's a great piece. You know, definitely has no problem standing up against a paramilitary 2 or even a 0562 as far as using the knife. Nothing happened to the knife. You know, there's no blade play on it even after cutting so many boxes. The knife is as solid as a rock. I forgot to mention that in the video. So yeah, I mean, everything from the action to the smoothness of the action to the blade steel, everything falls in line. I love this piece. I hope you guys find merit in this video. This is Omar, the Knife Shark Guy, signing off, hoping you'll find this elegant looking heavy duty folder in your collection. Thanks so much for watching, and I will be back in a few minutes with a new unboxing of a knife. Thanks so much, and have a good evening and enjoy your Labor Day.